Hi, this is Glenda and I'm making today a golf theme soap. These are the colorants that I will be using. Green mojito mica with some green pigment powder, and I'm gonna put in the description box a link to where you can see the recipe and the amounts of these colorants. What I have here is the mix of colorants mixed with the oils, and because they are at room temperature they became kind of pasty instead of back into their liquid form. So I'm just scraping it and putting it into the oils at this point. My soap is going to be all one color, all green, so I'm going to add the colorant to the oils before I add the sodium hydroxide solution. And I'm just giving it a quick stir with a spatula. If I remember correctly, I only used the mica on this portion. I didn't use the pigment, and the mica, I find it's easier to dissolve in the oils than the pigment is. The pigments tend to clump more. I have here the distilled water mixed with the lye. It has reached room temperature, same as the oils, they are at room temperature, and I just add this lye water solution to the oils, and initially I'm just stirring it with a spatula, and then later on I'm gonna bring the stick blender and blend it until it reaches trace. And trace is just when it gets thick enough that when I lift the blender, it will leave like a mark. I'll be able to see where it was, and that's what I'm testing right now, but it's not there yet. I do want it to be at a light trace because I don't plan to do any designs on the body of the soap, so the thicker it goes into the mold and the faster it's going to be ready to come out. I do want to make some soap dough out of this, and I want it to be on a darker green. So what I have here is some of the green pigment that was mixed with oil, and it sort of dried up a bit, it became a paste. So to this I'm adding a little bit of the soap butter and I'm mixing it. As you can see, it's becoming like a darker green, and I'm gonna use this green to make some like trees, some pine trees. Now here you can see that you can see the trace stage. It's not a very light trace. Like with the spatula you can see where it stayed. The fragrance that I will be using is Aqua di Gio. It's from Nature's Garden, and it's a type fragrance, so it's like their version of Aqua di Gio. It's a very manly cologne, smells very good, and it doesn't discolor, so that's why I'm also using this. And it was right around this moment that I remembered that I didn't add sodium lactate to the lye water solution, and I figured it's better later than never, so I added a couple teaspoons directly to the soap butter and tried to blend it in. First just with the spatula, and then I just did a quick blend with a stick blender to make sure it was evenly distributed. And here you can see how it's on the thicker trays or medium trays. You can definitely see the soap butter getting thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and add it straight to the mold. It's a silicone mold, 8-inch. I'm gonna get about 7 bars out of this. And I'm tapping it quickly against the counter to get rid of any bubbles that may have formed while pouring it. And here I'm using a fork. I was trying to create a texture of like the grass because I want this to look like a golf course, or you know, the grass on a golf course, but the fork wasn't quite working, so I brought again the spatula, and then I tried to just raise it into small peaks so that it will simulate the grass. Now the blades of grass seem too thick with that, so I switched to a wooden stirrer to keep doing the texture, and then I tested to see if it was thick enough or heavy enough to support the embed, which is going to be a golf ball. And thankfully it did not sink. It was thick enough that it was able to just stay on top.